Hi there, welcome to another session of the Gooner Booth. We're doing the match reaction of the Arsenal Man United game. So it was Manchester United nil, Arsenal 1. What do you make of that, Wayne?
Yeah, it's a tough one, Tone. Tough one to really to go from. I mean, you could look at it saying, you could be disappointed with the game, but I think there's a few individuals that kind of really, pulled us out of it that one today, mate. I mean, Raya, other than a couple of iffy moments with his the ball at his feet, I think you have to look at that. I think he's rightfully been given man of the match as well on Sky Sports, and I think we can both agree on that. I think Calafiori was solid. Subamendi. You don't want to be sort of like attacking individuals. We're not here to slag off Martinelli. This is not this channel. I thought he was anonymous. Saka as well, and he's one of our best players. Rice as well. I think further up, Erdegaard was constantly closing down Tone, but I think it's that end ball. And I think the team as well was struggling to kind of figure out how to unlock Gyökeres. He was making the runs in the channel, but I think there was a gif of his how he dealt with Delict. He was very strong, Tone. What's your take on it, matey? I mean, I mean, it wasn't the greatest of games, but I mean, we've come away from Old Trafford with 1-0. We have to remember that's a positive.
Yeah, I thought we were shocking. Couldn't get going.
Statement, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Best player on the park was Raya. He won us the game. I mean, unreal. Some of the saves.
Yeah.
He done the same last season to us. The, we discussed this yesterday, right? The tactics. He's gone done the same tactics, right?
Mm.
Gyökeres was getting no service today, and I felt really bad for him in the sense that the ball was coming up to him, and he was just nothing was coming. He was chasing down loose ball. He was trying everything he could do. But he's got to change the system slightly, to you got. I mean, we've now had a striker for 4 years. We're not an out striker. I don't think we're playing to his strengths, and you know what? I think United look a bit fresher in attack. You can tell. I think we're not surprised how they've come out. They've come out. They're up for it. They've got a brand new front three. Cunha and Breno, by the way, was he had a good
It
game.
was a handful,
He's
Tone.
going to
It was
be
a
good for them
handful, wasn't
today. They're not going to be the same team they were last season. So 1-0, look, we'll take it. But I mean, we can't go into the next three fixtures with that form. Because we'll struggle. I think we will struggle. So look, we take it and move on. Again, our defense, Saliba, Gabriel, they looked a bit shaky at times, but their quality come through in
it?
the
The
end.
first half, wasn't it, Tone?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
their,
yeah.
their quality come through in the end, and I thought they were brilliant. But yeah, a bit a bit shaky. Saka and Martinelli were non-existent. Although one thing I would
Yeah,
say, the ref had a bit of a poor game. For me, at one
yeah,
side I thought we was
100%.
playing, watching wrestling the way Delip was just running into Saka.
Mhm.
But I'm just hoping that there's going to be a bit more consistency with the refs this season. Didn't see it today. But to be fair, it must be, it was going to be one of them difficult games to manage. You're at Old Trafford, United are going to get the decision. That's always been the same. The home team advantage, and yeah. But yeah, I think looking at the stats, United got 62 had 62% possession against our 38%. That tells the story. They dominated. That was quite surprising me. I thought we'd have more of the ball. The possession wise, we couldn't get a foothold of the game. I must, I mean, Martin Odegaard
Mhm.
must have seen Tony Adams' video because he had an absolute blinder today. He was the only one in midfield that was, trying to get us settled, trying to get us into the game. But I think United worked hard and they made it really difficult. So um, happy to get out of there with 1-0. But yeah, I mean, again, there's some further stats that, proves how dominant United were. Like 22 shots, 7 on target against our 9 to 3 on target. So that tells the story there. So look, we'll take it. It was another set piece, ole ole. Um, but yeah, should should we get into the player ratings quickly to rate the team how they went?
Yeah, definitely, mate.
So
Yeah, let's
start for the
let's do it.
goalkeeper.
Yeah,
What are
yeah.
you talking
So
about?
I think obviously what we'll do as well is obviously we'll see if we agree on the player ratings, my friend. I
Yeah,
would say you've got to give Raya man of the match at 8.5.
I
Tone.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, in terms of he's playing the first half, it was a little where he got bundled off the ball, a
Yeah,
bit scary. But
I've,
he's
I've,
goalkeeping,
he,
he's shot stopping time, he's brilliant.
yeah, it's next to none. I mean, I'd question his footwork of recent, in
In the
pre-season,
pre-season,
bit,
he's been a little shaky. Yeah,
bit shaky. That's probably why he's probably not getting that 9 mark. I think for us, I think because that first
yeah. I think
10
you have to
minutes
drop it for that, but the
put
saves.
put us under a bit of pressure there.
Yeah. I say next one, Tone. I'll give you this one to you, mate. Calafiori.
Calafiori, I think I'd give him an 8 as well. I think he was solid.
I
I
can't
didn't
argue
really
with
do
that.
much for
That's
him.
solid.
Grounds. There was one moment which we discussed yesterday, which was my worry. We tucked into midfield, broke
You could
forward,
see
one
the space between. Yeah,
one ball
100%.
out to I think it was Cunha or Bremo, through on goal. Like comfortable save for Rare in the end, but on another day that could be 1-1. Just one ball
Yeah,
switched over to the right.
yeah.
So yeah, I'd
Uh,
give him an 8. I think he deserved an 8. He done well. We come in,
mm,
there's just you've got Timber who could play there. You've got Mike, Skelly who can come in and play there as well. So pressure is on him to have a
yeah.
good performance. I think he keeps his spot as well.
I agree, mate, 100%. We love MLS. I just think Calafiori, he's like Mikel said I've just seen an interview, dude, after the game, and he just said that he's just unpredictable. And I said that to you last night. It's that
Yeah,
as much as sometimes he goes forward, he gets sort of it would in fairness, I think it's the way the team play as opposed to an individual. But that one, other than that one moment, he's just got that unpredictability. He comes inside the field, you just don't know what he's going to do. He's
yeah,
always around the pitch, and that's how he's in the right place at the right time. The keeper was shocking for that goal. That
yeah,
well, thankful for that, but obviously he was there. He
yeah.
was going in anyway, in fairness. So, but
You
still,
know,
I like him. I like him tone at left back. Definitely solid.
Goldie shouldn't be doing that at professional level. When I was playing football, my coach would always say to the goalkeeper, whoever's in front of you, whether they're on your team or not on your team, go for everyone. Make sure that ball is yours.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite, I was listening to Roy Keane and he said the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, well, you're gonna mark me, but you're gonna get a punch in the back of the head if you're not careful. And he just got bullied. And I mean, we take it because we scored the goal, but
Yeah.
United would be really disappointed with that because it was
100%.
easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Moving on to the other fullback, Ben White got his start over Timber.
Mm. Yeah.
We thought that would happen. He had a good pre-season.
Yeah, we discussed
So
it, dude.
yeah,
He did. He did. Yeah. He played more, didn't he? Yeah. I would say, Tone, I think you can't really say put wrong a 7 out of 10.
yeah, I was just gonna say yeah, 6 or 7. I think.
I just
Uh,
say there wasn't a great amount of sort of thing, but I think you can't. It's not one an individual. I thought it's just solid enough.
yeah,
There's a moment, the moment I picked up on and kind of semi-celebrated, as silly as it may sound. We got caught out, and he's cut across, and I think he cut off. I think it was either I think Cunha.
yeah, yeah,
He cut off,
yeah,
and it was they were coming for a middle, and he cut across from right back into the centre of the pitch, just intercepted. I thought it's solid enough for what he did. I think obviously you got to realise as well he's still kind of playing into fitness because obviously he was out last year and he's still got to get up to scratch. He's had a good pre-season and I think that was it was solid enough.
yeah.
You can't say anything other than that. I don't, in my opinion, he wasn't the worst player on the pitch and I think he was a solid 7 in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because he was being penned in by Cunha, but I feel like he didn't get a chance
His
to go
attacking
forward.
side was
So
no,
yeah,
no,
it's
no.
a bit
He
non-existent
stuck to
today.
his ground. He just. Oh, we'll get to that. There's a player rating we're going to have to discuss as
Yeah,
well further up the pitch. But
yeah,
centre half. What do you
yeah.
think? What are we going for? Silly. I think say do a
I
joint.
think an 8. I think an 8. I think he was having a bit of a shaky game, but I think the last 10 minutes he got us out of a hole.
Yeah,
Them scrambles, but he stood up strong. You, back in the day, a penalty would have been given very easily in them situations.
yeah,
He's tackled that tackle that he done where he wrapped his legs
yeah.
around and Bremo. You know, on another day, it's a penalty. But
It's
very clever. He's a very clever
he's so
defender.
good at them.
So
So good at them.
yeah, definitely an 8. I think he stood up strong, and we was under the cosh, and we needed him and Gabriel to step
Yeah,
up. So he done brilliant. Just goes to show
yeah,
that how how world class he is as a defender, and
yeah,
I think that just is why Real Madrid are sniffing around him.
yeah,
Gabriel,
yeah,
that's one of the centre
yeah.
halves.
To be fair, Tony, I'd say the same. I think we could keep it that because of the fact that we've kept to look at, I would say, the back line was our was our best thing in terms of the fact that they held Man United out. But yeah, I would say you could go along with a 7.58. I'd say I'd still say he was as solid as Saliba. Saliba for me looked more shaky in the first half, but come back in the second half is an absolutely world class. Gabriel, I think he has that moment. He's solid as well. He put on a few crucial blocks, and I think you should. I think that the defence deserved the highest ratings. To be fair, Tone, I think that both of them for what they withstood, I'd say 8 out of 10. I think for both of the centre halves, matey.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. So on to our wingers. Let's start off with Martinelli. Be kind.
I'm going to try here, matey, but I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Okay.
What I would say though, again, as I've discussed earlier, and we said, I want to just reiterate, we are not here to be slagging off individuals, and be a Martinelli hate channel. We know, and you discussed it and said about the left hand side, and we know there's still that issue there. I just thought he was just back to the Martinelli of not knowing what to do. And I think we just needed a player on that wing, and this is going to include Saka. And I think, in fairness, Tone, if we're while we're discussing it, I'd say Saka the same rating as
Yeah.
Martinelli.
Yeah.
I think Saka was extremely poor. So was Martinelli. The problem you have, Martinelli's confidence still is shot. I mean, the boy's not been anywhere consistent for the last 2 years. But Saka is one.
Yeah.
But he's pinged his hammy. We
Yeah.
have to have a bit of leeway. But I think we
I
have to be
think.
fair and say
Yeah.
both of them were poor today. I think they deserve the same rating.
Yeah. I think in fairness to Saka, I think he was getting the lump, like getting the shit kicked out of him on that side
He
link by
was
a
he
bit.
was getting
Every now and
absolutely, yeah.
again, they'd
I
leave
think
one
there's
on him.
times
So
yeah.
I think, you know, that was quite frustrating to watch because there was a few occasions the ref let the play go on, and it's like they've did they once they've done the first one, they knew he was going to get away with the second. So I think he got a little bit roughed up today. And yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, Martinelli, apologies, Martinelli. For me, he always did you that work rate going back, but he again going forward. There was a few
brilliant
occasions
work rate,
where
mate.
we could have hit him on the break and it just weren't making the right decisions. But I don't think that's just him. I think that's across the whole attacking line that we didn't make the right decisions. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think I've in almost one of them situations where I think the less said the better. I think everyone knows watching this and everyone watching the game knew that it wasn't. They both weren't at their best. I mean, obviously, no Saka.
mm,
But it's the thing. Saka's going to get marked out the game every game now. So it goes back to the transfer market. We have to bring in a left winger. We have to bring in a top left
yeah,
winger. Um, I
yeah.
don't see it happening.
We have to.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that can be another
Yeah.
podcast conversation, which we'll do during the week to discuss transfer news. But yeah,
Yeah.
should we move on to the midfield? So Declan
Yeah,
Rice.
yeah. To be fair, matey, I wonder if you interpreted the same as me, but I would say that I thought Rice was poor, and I would say
Yeah.
the same again with Saka and Martinelli. I think it's only fair. I say that because I just thought there was a few passes were off. He just did not look himself. Harsh as it seems, I think you can't. There's a lot of sort of like individuals that were poor. I think obviously other than the back line, but I think yeah, I would say it's got to be between a 5.5 and 6. So I mean, if you whatever you agree on, I'll go with you. But I would say I've got to go with the same rating as Saka and Martinelli. I thought all three of them really struggled today, matey. So I
Yeah.
think it did me like there was. I'll tell you what, Tony, if I bump it up to a 6, because I've just remembered an interception that he did make, but I just thought it wasn't his usual self. He made a very good interception, maybe the come towards the end of the first half, which is Declan Rice like. But I just think if you needed someone to have grab the game by the scruff of the neck alongside Odegaard, you needed him. What I'd say to you is that I'll swing it to you and what you thought of the new signing there, middle of the park, him and Subamendi, maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
What you thought,
I
what your rating would be.
yeah. So firstly, I agree on Rice. He could have in them situations you need him to take a foothold in that midfield and get everyone
Yeah,
settled, and he
that's what I'm
couldn't
saying.
do it. So.
That's what I'm saying, mate. Yeah, 100%.
So many, Joe. What I think, well, welcome to England, like, welcome to Premier League. That's what I'd say to him
Yeah,
because there was moments in that game where he thought he'd had a bit of time on the ball and he did not have any time on the ball. And I think a few
Yeah,
times he got caught out,
yeah,
trying to play out from the back. And
yeah,
so I
yeah.
I would say I'd give him a six as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say the middle. I think the middle of the park is a tougher thing. Sorry there, Tone. I wanted to.
yeah,
That's why I think it's only fair to give both of them. I was thinking six, and I think that's the fairest point to go. Supermendy and Rice 6 out of 10. Man United were just playing vertical, playing over, playing balls, get
yeah,
it to Mbeumo, get it to Cunha. Mount, as much as I don't rate him as but he
had a good
was
game.
getting about as well. He had a good
Yeah.
game for him, and them three were working quite well, and we were poor in that sense. And we'll move on to Erdegaard, Tone. We discussed it earlier in the video, matey. What did you say about that one, matey? The captain.
I'd give him. I was going to give him an eight, but I'm going to give him a seven. Purely
Yeah, yeah,
because
I can agree with that. Yeah.
we had a few occasions where we broke on United and we didn't quite like the decision making in certain attacks from him wasn't what you would want. So he
Mm.
played well. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he got us plan at times, but there was just a few times where he could have moved the ball a bit quicker, and he does that, and it's quite frustrating. I think that's why the supporters get frustrated with him a little
Very
bit.
often he
Holds
does.
onto the ball too long. So yeah,
Mm.
I think seven's fair.
Yeah.
He was one of our better players.
One of
So
the better players from the midfield, say
and
five, if you like.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'd give him
Obviously,
a
we've
seven.
come up with we can't with Saka and Martinelli. I think we can both agree it wasn't their best sort of like day in the office. I think 5.5 failed it obviously with Saka. I still think there was just times he didn't look himself.
Yeah,
And we know it's not a slight on him. It's not but I think it was a poor game. And obviously I think we're going to have to look at that. I
yeah,
don't think he's going to quite hit the levels Tone yet. So I think we
yeah.
have to realise he's going to have a few
So
games, and especially the tougher games, he's going to struggle.
on that
We'll
point,
move on
on
to.
that
Oh,
point,
mate,
and
go
I'm
sorry.
gonna push back on that point. Why didn't he take Saka off and put Madueke on the right then? That's what he was bought for, apparently.
Apparently, yeah, yeah, 100%.
So
You haven't got. And someone also asked on the X tone why Trossard wasn't there, and didn't come on. Sorry, and I said, well,
yeah,
personally, I think maybe obviously it must be either he's not fit enough or it's because he might be off.
yeah. I think he's gone.
But I
I think
think
he's being sold. He weren't being
yeah,
risked. He's being sold.
it has to be in terms of how I think I don't think I know Martinelli is staying, and we're not here to slag the guy off because I still think if you can make me choose, I'd always choose Martinelli. I think in terms of there's still something there, that you can use.
Yeah,
But you're right there, Tone. I think with Saka, he's always waiting for him to do something, so he leaves him on the pitch. But you're right. If it's not quite going well for Saka, I think you've got to look at it. There's got to be another option to say, right, okay, I've got a better option than Martinelli. Let's take him off, and then you bring Noni Madueke on for Saka if Saka's struggling, because I think he's going to struggle a lot more in terms of him building up, he build
yeah,
himself back up. The guys. Who was it? It was when in the first half. I want to go back to the guys that have a hamstring because what I didn't mention on last night's as well was obviously Gabriel pinged his hamstring, didn't he?
yeah,
So we lost. Gabriel looked like he pulled out of a challenge, and Cunha burst through, didn't he? And it was obviously a tame shot. It wouldn't, but he burst through, and Gabriel to me looked like he kind of, pulled out a little bit. I think we've got to realise a lot of them three players when you ping your hammy, it's not an easy one to come back from, dude. So yeah, he's going to take time. But instead of me waffling on time, we'll go for the debut up top, and obviously we'll do a couple of ratings for the subs. But what did
yeah,
you think of? Personally, I'll put it through to you, but we'll talk about Gyökeres. But I just think he was isolated, and
yeah.
I think he had a few moments. He was a strong upper, but we weren't playing to his strengths. What do you think?
Yeah, he didn't get the service. I think that's just bluntly putting it. I'd give him a six. I think an average score.
I think that's a
He
fair.
worked.
I
He
think it's
worked
fair.
hard.
Yeah,
Joe? What I liked about him was you noticed when Havertz come on for him that the ball wasn't holding as much. One thing that
no,
Gyökeres was doing, he was
he was.
making
Yes,
himself a nuisance to their
yeah,
back
of
three.
course he was.
And they, like with the lit, in the corner, there's a few times where the lit was trying to. One thing I realized today is Gyökeres is a very strong guy.
He's
Um,
upper body strength, so he's
he's
ridiculous. Yeah,
so I think we've got to play to them strengths as well. in games like this where we're under the cosh, get him to hold the ball up. And what I don't want to happen, and I feel like Arteta was guilty of this today, was making subs just for the sake of them. He didn't.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think he had to take Gyökeres off dead on 60 minutes to give
yeah.
Havertz 30 minutes. I feel like he could have kept on a bit longer because he was. I reckon if he's on that pitch the 70th minute
Mm.
and a chance comes, he's gonna have. He didn't have a shot on. He didn't have a shot on goal today. That's purely because he was chasing down defenders. He weren't getting the service. So I think it's fair to give him a six. Um,
Friend,
subs. That moves us nicely on
we've
to
got the
Havertz.
subs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if for me as well, I think again, there's some nice touches with Havertz. For me, it's a case of we need that out and out number nine. I think you can. There's not for half an
Yeah.
hour. There are certain things, a few things. Six, I'd say, would be for most of those subs. I would say, but for Havertz, would you agree with a six? I think it's just a bang. It
I,
was just an average. There's
I,
nothing much I think he could have done in
yeah.
terms of anything else. He had certain moments, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say
I'd
six.
probably. I think I'd go as far as a five. And I think the reason why I'd give him a five is because he dived on the floor, and I really hate when he does that. No one touched him, and he's just dived on the floor. It wasn't the free kick that he got.
Yeah.
That it was in the corner,
Mm.
near the corner. He just took a dive, and it's like you don't like. He needs to get out of his game because it,
Yeah,
what it does, it takes the momentum out of our attack when he does that. Just stay on your feet.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I think
100%.
for me a five. He was brought on
Should we go in the
half an
middle there,
hour.
Tone, and do a five and a 5.5 and a half? Should we
Yeah,
meet in the middle?
yeah, we could do.
I get
I
no, I
just
get what you're saying there, Tone.
it,
100%.
my argument to him would be, yeah, 30 minutes is enough time to come in and make an impact. And I
Yeah.
didn't see the impact that he made. I feel like it. Joe, what it felt like today. It was
No, that's a
same
fair
old.
point. Yeah,
Like
there's no argument there, Tone.
what change have we made from last season? I didn't see a difference. Only new faces. The system was the same. The way we
No.
played was the same. Um, so yeah, I mean, do we blame Havertz for that? Probably not. Probably Arteta's got to take a bit of stick for not
Mm.
tweaking the tactic. United were prepared for us. You could tell they come straight at us.
They were very, yeah, they were well
Um,
prepared. Prepared, yeah,
so
definitely.
yeah. I think so what moving on, Lewis Skelly, I think he got 20 minutes.
I don't want to be harsh. There's as we've discussed, and I don't want to keep on repeating myself. I think obviously, again, you got to realise as much he was fantastic for us. He's still an 18-year-old kiddie. And at the back end of the year, I think he started to struggle in a few moments, have caught out a lot. I think you have to stick again with a 5.5 in terms of the fact that it's not against him. It's not a slight on him. I thought he got caught out in one moment that was quite dangerous. We rode the storm, but I thought he'd sit there and go no miles. But I think he's an 18-year-old kid, Tone. 20 minutes, I think it's just obviously he didn't do anything spectacular. He didn't do anything overly wrong. There's just one moment I think he was a little bit shaky, and I think
Yeah.
the kid needs to be protected as well because he's got a bright future. Same with Ethan as well. But yeah, I have to give him 5.5. What did you think? I thought I'm going to have to say I'm going to leave Timber's rating to yourself, and obviously
Yeah.
but I thought Timber was brilliant when he come on.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I think it's six for Timber. I think he come on, slotted in at
it
right
was
back.
in terms of what he had to do. I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
again,
six. I think.
it's not a case it changed the game, but what his defensive
Yeah, he come in.
play, his strength,
Yeah,
he was brilliant. So I think obviously being in a sub, there's not enough time. So 6 out of 10 is a fair one for that one. So it was come on, bud. We had Marino come on as
Marino.
well for Declan Rice, which is a strange one for me because as much as Declan Rice had a poor game, I would have still wanted to keep him on the pitch personally. But that's just me.
I'm surprised he didn't pull Zubimendi off and put Rice in that number four
Mm.
role
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
let
Did think,
Mourinho
yeah.
plan attack. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised he let Zubimendi have a full game. I mean, fair play to
It
him.
was a bit. It was a bit
He looks a
worrying.
bit.
I trust Rice. Yeah, I agree with
He,
that, mate. That was my
yeah,
opinion. Very surprised.
I think purely because it's the first game of the season. Zubimendi's sort of still settling into the Premier League life, and I think he realised today that you know, it's it's not like the Spanish league. You're not going to get time on the ball. You're going to have someone straight on you.
You
And
haven't got as much
you
time
know,
on your ball on the ball, have you, I
so and
suppose.
I think he was a little bit. He looked a bit rattled the first 20 minutes. I think he he couldn't get the
Yeah.
passes going, which was quite worrying really because you'd want him and Rice should be, you'd want them to be getting the ball down and controlling that midfield. So that was probably the biggest shock for me
Definitely.
today was that we didn't dominate the midfield. I thought we would have dominated the
Yeah,
midfield
100%.
with the top
We
players. So
on sorry to overtalk you there, my friend,
yeah,
but on paper, yeah, I agree with you, mate. We on paper, you'd go. We got a fantastic midfield,
yeah,
but it didn't look like that way today, in my opinion. Of it, to try and add that negativity to it, I think, in all due respect to United, they were well drilled and Emery as that. He's well drilled, mate. But I thought,
yeah,
papers another thing. Time performance on the day
yeah,
is another, and I think
yeah,
we look like we had the weaker midfield, so that is kind of the points null and void. Last one, Tone. We had another debutant as well. We had Noni Madueke. Again, he come on,
yeah.
whether it upset you or not, but he came
No,
on and he played at
he,
left wing.
yeah. When he comes at left wing,
So what would you say
it's
on
not.
that? What was your opinion on that?
Joe, one thing that I'd say about Noddy Madueke, I'll get his name right, sorry, was that he gives the same work rate as Martinelli does. So that's one thing I did notice straight away that he's going to do that. He's going to track back. He's going to cover that area. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if he comes on for Martinelli on that side, he's going to do the same work rate. He's going to cover and help out defensively. Would a Rodrigo do that? Probably, maybe, but
That's my thought
that's
process.
the risk you
Yeah.
take. Would Eze do that? Probably the better question. Would he track back like Martinelli or
I,
Madueke would have done today? So
I,
you,
yeah, I think obviously as we said last, yeah, yeah.
I think
Sorry,
I'll give him a
sorry there, Tony. Yeah, I
six.
mean obviously
I'll give
we
him a six. Because
I think
his work rate was
yeah,
good.
I agree with that.
It was a nice tidy footwork. He didn't lose the ball in key areas. He done what he should have done. So yeah. What I don't want to see this season, and it was in our chat that we we all agree on this as well. We don't want to see the same subs every game. You don't want to see like 60 minutes. Let's bring Havertz on for your careers. And let's bring on Madueke for Martinelli. Half an hour to go. You don't want to see the same subs. You want you, you don't you want Arteta to think differently for each game. And what I don't want is just be about, I've got to give these players game time because they're going to get upset. He's got to,
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah.
so yeah. I, what the one thing that Roy Keane was saying on Sky Sports, and I completely agree with him. It's nuts. He's a United. I used to hate him when he used to play for United, but when he's on Sky Sports, I do. He does talk a lot of sense. And he sort of said that
Mm.
that why why didn't we go for the second goal? He said when we scored the first goal, it was like we shut up shop and we did. He wasn't looking for that second goal. He wasn't showing that ambition
Yeah.
to get the second goal. So I think we've got to change that. I mean, look, if we win the league and we're winning 1-0 every game, who's going to care? But at the same time, you're sort of running the
Mm.
risks. The games that are coming up, you can't do that against Liverpool. No way. They'll hammer you. He's got to tweak it. I think. Well, if he keeps it the same, but we've been sussed out.
Oh,
We
God.
need what we do. So. Um,
Mm.
look, we'll take the 1-0. We'll run for the hills and we'll live to fight another day. But I think put it down to the first game of the season. Fitness is still a thing. Yeah. Last rating,
100%, yeah.
last rating. I'll
Yeah,
throw
go
it.
on, maybe.
What do you think of the referee? Simon Hooper was the referee today. What would you
um,
rate him?
do we? If I'm, can I keep it PG-13 or can I
Yeah,
just totally yell?
go for it.
Someone put it on X, and I'm not here to take anyone's opinions and use it as my own, but I have to agree. He said it was literally the crowd at Old Trafford. It must have got to him. I mean, the fouls he was letting go,
Yeah,
and Man United fouls given. It's the curse of Old Trafford for anyone. You're not going to get anything there. Um, One thing you'd have to say though, dude, is he wasn't pulled into the Supermendy. Do you remember at the he cleared it?
hit his
I
arm.
think
Yeah,
second
low
half,
up.
and his
Yeah,
hand was up here. It was unavoidable,
yeah.
and yeah, so he didn't get pulled into that. But again, the rest of it is absolutely shocking. So I'd say you got to go 0 out of 10, mate. There's no. This is just
Um,
in terms of our rating for Man United, he was 10 out of 10.
yeah.
For us,
Uh,
dude, there was other than maybe a couple of. It was like someone said on it's like, oh, Arsenal can't get a foul, but a couple of them, like a Moreno. got hit on the head. He fell on the floor, and like you said about Havertz, I looked and Moreno got straight back up. And I thought to myself, there were some you could say all right, but overall tone again, it was some of the stuff he was letting go, mate, was a bit poor in my opinion, But that's just the
Yeah.
standard of refereeing now we got to deal with. There's
Yeah. When
VAR and the referee in this league, mate. It's poor.
yeah.
It's poor.
When Saka got rugby tackled by De Ligt, I knew that we weren't going to get anything from this ref. But
100%. Yeah.
you know, uh,
Said it
yeah,
all, mate.
I mean, I'll give him some
100%.
credit in the sense that he wasn't quick to go to VAR with that handball. And he let it go. He let the game flow when he could. So I'll give him some credit there. Um, but yeah,
Mm.
I'm pretty sure I'm safe to say that he's not going to be the worst ref this season that we have. So yeah, cool.
100%, mate. We have to get used to that.
Cool. Yeah, so I think we'll leave it there. Nothing more to say. I think we nicked it
Yeah.
1-0, 3 points on the board. Got a tough fixture out the way on the calendar.
Take
We
it.
can
Take it and
say.
run time.
Yeah, on to the next. So Leeds at home next Saturday. Um, we'll
Yeah.
again, guys. We'll be on midweek to discuss some transfer news, and then another match preview next weekend. But yeah, leave your comments in the box. Who was what was your
Yeah.
rating?
If you disagree with any ratings, guys, please let me or Tony know. Obviously,
Yeah, and yeah,
leave
so
it
hit
in the
like and
comments. Feel
subscribe,
free.
and
Yeah.
we will see you on the next show. We're out of here. Bye.